They are one of the most well-known chapters in all of Warhammer 40k. And for good reason. They are the Defenders of Aurelia. They are the Blood Ravens chapter. The Blood Ravens, the stars of the Dawn of War series, infamous for stealing everything not bolted to the ground. With the announcement of Dawn of War 4, this chapter has found itself thrust back into the spotlight once again. It's been 8 years since the Magpie's Greystar desktop screens, and many new fans have joined the hobby since they did. So for those of you unfamiliar with the Blood Ravens, here's the quick and dirty of their story so far. But first, a quick word from the sponsor of this video. Okay, this is very nostalgic for me. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are actually in Raid Shadow Legends. I had to jump in the second I heard, and trust me, you're going to want to stick around for the insane bonuses I've got for you at the end. Seriously, don't click away. I've got a code that'll let you choose 1 out of 5 legendary champions, plus some exclusive TMNT rewards you cannot get if you miss this event. And yes, I do have a personal favorite Ninja Turtle that is playable. Starting August the 21st through November the 21st, you can collect Michelangelo just by logging in for 7 days. Then there's Donatello, my favorite Ninja Turtle, a top tier supporter who heals and reduces cooldowns. He's great because he's the perfect pick for any team. You can start strong, build up in the campaigns, then push into dungeons once your team's ready. You can also summon Leonardo, Raphael, April, and even Shredder in limited events. And fight Shredder in the event dungeon to grab an exclusive gear set. Collect all 6 and you unlock a special bonus reward. It's all super easy to play anywhere. Raid is cross-platform, so I can do a few campaign runs on desktop at home, then grind dungeons on my phone while waiting for coffee. The AAA graphics are ridiculous for a mobile game, and their PvE content is still the most advanced I've played. Plus, you can team up with friends and family in your own clan. And here's the big thing you do not want to miss out on. You could choose 1 legendary from these 5 promo codes. Treehugger for Green Warden Ruak, Get Alice for Alice the Wanderer, Desert Queen for Tahanarak, Demon Slayer for Tholin Foulbeard, and Monkey King for Sun Wukong. If it were me, I'd go Desert Queen. Tahanarak's kit is insane for progressing through dungeons and PvE, especially if you're starting fresh. Click my link in the description or scan my QR code to get amazing bonuses available only via my link. You will immediately get a huge starter pack with an epic champion, Tayrel, and you'll get another starter pack after reaching level 15, the epic Rector Drath. Remember, these champions are only available after downloading via my custom link or QR code, only 48 hours after downloading with the link. If you go directly to app stores or use any other link to download, you won't get these packages that Raid's team has given me. So make sure you download with the link and then use the promo code in the game. Click the link in the description and play Raid Shadow Legends now. The founding of the Blood Ravens is shrouded in myth, inscribed in forgotten and ancient tomes. According to White Dwarf 305 2005, the Blood Ravens were founded in M37, though references to them existing before this date are scattered throughout Imperial records. Their progenitor and Primarch is unknown, and many have theorized it to be the Thousand Sons and Magnus the Red, because of the many powerful psykers the chapter boasts, as well as other equally unverifiable theories that have crawled out of the fandom over the years. Being religious and not knowing their progenitor has meant the chapter focuses most of its worship directly on the Emperor. They also worship a legendary figure from their past, Azariah Vidya, who was their chapter master and chief librarian, being the very first to combine the 2 roles within the chapter, something unique to the Blood Ravens. Vidya is as close as the Blood Ravens have to a founder, being known in the chapter as the Great Father. Their homeworld is the planet of Aurelia. In M40, it was assaulted by the Great Unclean One, Ulker. The chapter master, at the time Mariah, was able to wound the greater demon, and his apprentice Kyrus was able to seal the demon in the heart of Aurelia. This act, however, would cast their homeworld into the warp. This was fortunately not the end of the chapter, as they have a few recruiting worlds scattered throughout the Aurelia subsector. It's highly probable that they worked as a crusading chapter after the loss of their homeworld, fighting in numerous conflicts across the Imperium. Just before we as players join the adventures of the Blood Ravens, the destruction of Cyrene occurs, mentioned throughout the first Dawn of War game. Cyrene was one of the Blood Ravens' primary recruiting worlds. The details of this destruction come to us in White Dwarf 305 2005 again. Captain Gabriel Angelos, a native of this world, is running selection trials to pick out fresh recruits for the Blood Ravens, when suddenly he stops the trials, returns to his strike cruiser, summons the Inquisition, and condemns the world to exterminatus for chaos corruption. The destruction of Cyrene would weigh heavily on Angelos, and he would constantly question if what he really saw was the taint of chaos amongst the people of Cyrene. Dawn of War. We joined the Bloodravens in M41 in the first Dawn of War game. Gabriel Angelos and the Third Company arrive on the doomed world of Tartarus. The planet is not only being overrun by a massive orc war, but about to be consumed by a warp storm. Angelos, the Third Company, and Angelos' longtime friend, librarian Isidore Achios, had initially arrived to aid in holding back the orcs to buy more time to evacuate the planet. Yet as they battle the orcs, the Bloodravens encounter Eldari from Baal-Tan and find hints of chaos on the planet. While pursuing the signs of chaos, the Bloodravens are ordered by Inquisitor Toth of the Ordo Malleus to leave the world. Right after their encounter with the Inquisitor, Angelos finds a profane altar to the Dark Gods. Their suspicions confirmed, Gabriel Angelos leads his company to find this corruption and destroy it. This was in large part due to how guilty Angelos felt about destroying his homeworld. While pursuing the trail of heretics, the Bloodravens are ambushed by the Baal-Tan forces. The Eldar are dead set on wiping out the entire Bloodravens force, but with Faith and Blade, the Space Marines break through the Eldar's trap, finding a giant Chaos altar. Once more, Inquisitor Toth steps in, trying to convince Gabriel to leave, claiming that the corruption of this world will be wiped away in an oncoming warp storm. Still, Gabriel refuses to leave, and Toth is forced to cut off the Bloodravens from all supplies and allies as they pursue the mysteries of Tartarus. It seems that the Inquisitor is not the only one keen for the Bloodravens to leave the planet. In a last-ditch attempt to remove the Space Marines, the Eldar summon an avatar of Cain, though in typical Warhammer fashion, the avatar is slain by the Space Marines. The carnage of the battle, though, reveals an ancient malefic relic, simply referred to as the Key. The Key is then stolen by the forces of Chaos. What then proceeds is one of the single most infuriating conversations in 40k history, where the Eldar's captured Farseer bluntly refuses to answer a simple question from Angelos.
No! Damn you!
Who was that alien? What did he steal?
A key. The last step along a bloody path.
A key to what?
The undoing of us all.
Stop speaking in riddles.
He stole a key. A key to the shadows of this world, to the evil horror that lies within.
Tell me what this key does.
You do not know. Your Inquisitor keeps you on a short leash.
Despite being given the runaround by the Eldar, the Bloodravens manage to track the forces of Chaos to a ruined temple. Before the battle, though, Toth finally reveals the truth to Gabriel. The key will allow the heretics to gain access to the Maledictum, an ancient stone within which is sealed a powerful demon. The Bloodravens and their allies fight their way through the forces of Chaos, even slaying the Chaos' force commander, Lord Baal. Yet all was for naught. In the shadows, the true mastermind of Tartarus' destruction is revealed, Sindri Mir, an Alpha Legion Chaos sorcerer, with the death of Lord Baal also being a part of his plan. The Chaos Lord's death completes the ritual to acquire the Maledictum. Worse still, he has corrupted Isidore, and the Librarian's betrayal ensures the heretics escape with the Maledictum. Gabriel Angelos is stunned and saddened by his old friend's fall to Chaos, and, once more, he feels as if he cannot trust his own eyes and sense of morality. Pursuing the forces of Chaos, Angelos is focused on one thing: vengeance. Cutting a bloody swathe through the heretics, Angelos confronts his old friend. Isidore begs for redemption at the end, and Gabriel delivers it via his bolt pistol, killing his once trusted confidant. The Chaos Sorcerer, though, has already escaped with the Maledictum, and began a ritual to absorb its power. The meager forces of the Eldar and what remains of the Imperials muster together to face the forces of Chaos. This is when Inquisitor Toth gifts Gabriel the Demon Hammer, Godsplitter, a weapon devastatingly effective against the denizens of the Warp. With his faith renewed in himself, Gabriel leads the Astartes and local Imperial Guard in a battle against the newly ascended Demon Prince Sindri. With Godsplitter in hand, Sindri is no match for the captain, and the Maledictum is ripped from his grasp, stealing the sorcerer of his princedom, and Angelos taking his life shortly after. With the Maledictum in hand, Toth and Angelos get ready to destroy the stone with Godsplitter. The Eldar storm in beforehand, screaming that if Angelos destroys the stone, they will all be doomed. The Inquisitor orders the stone's destruction, causing the Eldar and Imperials to devolve into a bloody brawl. In the carnage, Gabriel destroys the stone and the Eldar flee. The world of Tartarus is on the verge of destruction, and all Imperial forces run for extraction. All save Angelos, who is held back by a demonic voice. The demon from the stone has been freed. In thanks for freeing him, the demon lets Gabriel Angelos escape Tartarus with his life, but the Bloodraven swears he will see the demon dead. Dark Crusade. The next we see of the Blood Ravens is in Dawn of War Dark Crusade. 3 companies of the Blood Ravens led by Davian Thule have been sent to the world of Cronus. Their orders are to search for relics left behind on the world by their forebears. Yet the world of Cronus is rife with conflict. The Eldar, Orcs, Imperial Guard, Wordbearers and Tau are all fighting for dominance on the world. The Blood Ravens took on all comers and broke them. This includes the Imperial Guard, who they decimated. The lore here is a little shaky because it's mostly accounting for the campaign mode for Dark Crusade, where all factions are fighting on a map capturing territories. Though honestly, the Blood Ravens do come off as looking pretty bad here. They effectively purged the Imperial Guard to keep their chapter's secrets, and because the Guard rightfully didn't kowtow to them. Space Marines don't have explicit authority over Astromilitarum forces. A lot of Guard commanders defer to the authority of the Astartes, but the Guard had very different orders on Cronus. Needless to say, the Blood Ravens' actions of murdering perfectly loyal guardsmen brought the eye of the Inquisition down upon them. Soulstorm. The last expansion for the original Dawn of War was Soulstorm. This saw Indrik Boreal leading 5 companies to the Karava system. Unfortunately, the Karava campaign would end in disaster for the Blood Ravens. Seemingly, most of the 5 companies were wiped out, and Captain Boreal would be killed by war boss Gorguts Edunta. Dawn of War 2. Following the disaster that was the Karava campaign, the Blood Ravens were hit by only greater tragedy. Shown to us in Dawn of War 2, the crippled chapter is locked in a brutal war against the Orcs, who are assaulting the chapter's recruiting worlds. We joined the story as Commander Rostam, later named Aramis in the Dawn of War 2 novelization. He is our silent protagonist. Rostam aids Davian Thule in the defense of Calderis, one of the aforementioned recruiting worlds of the Blood Ravens. Calderis is one of the many worlds threatened by this Orc invasion across the Aurelia subsector. The Orcs are ready to overwhelm the Blood Ravens. Despite only having a handful of Astartes, the young Force Commander is able to turn the tide of the battle. Working with Thule, Rostam and a cadre of veteran Astartes manage to push back the Orcs, only to discover that the Orc assault was being orchestrated by the Eldar. Davian Thule dispatches Rostam and his warriors to investigate the Eldar on the nearby world of Typhon Primaris, another of the Blood Ravens' recruiting worlds. During their investigation of the Eldar, Rostam and his warriors discover a Tyranid hive fleet is descending upon the Aurelia subsector. This is the reason why the Eldar have orchestrated this massive Orc invasion. Their hope is the destruction of the Blood Raven recruiting worlds will send the Tyranids elsewhere, sparing their craft world in the long run. Though this information comes too late. The Tyranids have already arrived on Calderis, and Captain Thule is in desperate need of aid. Though Rostam arrives in time to evacuate his brothers, Thule is mortally wounded by a Tyranid warrior. His body, however, is recovered and interred within a dreadnought sarcophagus. With Thule out of action, Gabriel Angelos gathers up the remnants of the chapter and makes all haste towards Aurelia. Rostam must hold till reinforcements arrive, else the Blood Ravens will be doomed. So you, as Rostam, battle back the Eldar, Orcs, and Tyranids, gathering up resources to develop a toxin capable of defeating the Tyranid hive fleet. Unfortunately, the hive mind traps Gabriel Angelos in the warp, along with the desperately needed reinforcements. So Rostam and his elite strike force have to deliver the toxin to the primary hive ship alone. They're successful in destroying the hive fleet's central brain, freeing the reinforcement fleet who arrive just in time to save Rostam from certain doom. Chaos Rising. This is not where the story of Rostam ends though. Because of Dawn of War Chaos Rising, an expansion to Dawn of War 2, 1 year after the Tyranid invasion, the homeworld of the Blood Ravens, Aurelia, emerges from the warp. Rostam and his strike force are sent to investigate the lost world, only to find it crawling with the forces of the Black Legion. That's not all though, as the Eldar once more begin harassing the Blood Ravens. Corruption spreads from Aurelia, and the Blood Ravens find their investigation being interrupted by heretical uprisings on Meridia, an Imperial hive world in the sector. Seeking to annihilate the corruption at its source, Rostam's strike force, the third company of Blood Ravens and forces of the Imperial Guard, invade Aurelia. Yet during the early stages of the invasion, Rostam finds a Vox communication, revealing a traitor amongst the Blood Ravens. Rostam turns his attention to finding the traitor, discovering swiftly it's one of his own men. Worse still, his pursuit of the traitor reveals that there are more Blood Ravens corrupted by chaos, all the way to the chapter's Honor Guard. This revelation comes at the same time Apollo Diomedes, captain of the Honor Guard, orders the entire chapter to abandon the Aurelia subsector. Gabriel Angelos goes to try to dissuade Diomedes, and the chapter master from this course of action, effectively meaning Rostam's strike force is now the only force of Blood Ravens fighting back the Black Legion, and the other threats plaguing the subsector. Needless to say, Rostam's small force cannot be everywhere at once, and the Blood Ravens nearly lose Meridia to the heretics. Once more, Rostam proves his mettle, saving the world. Frustrated by this, the leader of the Black Legion forces, Aghast the Pillager, issues a challenge to the Blood Ravens. Aghast dies on Aurelia at Rostam's hand. Though this isn't the end of the Black Legion assault, Aghast only fell because his second in command, a Elyphus, the Inheritor, betrayed him. Rostam has no time to pursue the new lord of the Black Legion forces, Diomedes and the chapter master of the Blood Ravens. Azariah Kyrus have declared Gabriel Angelos and the Third Company traitors. Thanks to his investigation into the traitors among his own ranks, Rostam knows the true traitor is none other than Azariah Kyrus himself. Kyrus had been initially thought lost on the Space Hulk, the Judgment of Carrion. The Librarian didn't die though. Instead, he made a pact with Olcair, falling to the corruption of chaos. Rescued from the Space Hulk 5 centuries later, Kyrus rose to Chapter Master and Chief Librarian of the Blood Ravens. To aid in bringing down Kyrus, Rostam infiltrates a Blood Ravens base, securing codes needed to find the traitor in his ranks. During this infiltration, he discovers that Diomedes has not fallen to chaos and is being deceived by Kyrus. Using the recovered codes, Rostam discovers the traitor in his ranks. Quick aside, the traitor depends on how you play the game, but later games show it has to be Thaddeus or Avitus. The traitor flees to join the Black Legion on Aurelia. Joining forces with Gabriel Angelos, Rostam lands on Aurelia, killing the traitor, banishing Olcair before he is freed. For their heroism, the heroes of Aurelia are declared traitors by Kyrus. Retribution. The final tale in Dawn of War 2 comes in the expansion Retribution. It has been 10 years since the banishment of Olcair on Aurelia. The subsector is engulfed in war and corruption. So wrought by carnage is the subsector that the Ordo Malleus is going to cleanse the entire place via Exterminatus. The fate of the Blood Ravens now rests on Captain Diomedes. In the 10 years since Aurelia, Diomedes has been pursuing the remnants of Elyphus' host. We join him as he corners the Chaos Lord, killing Elyphus and crushing the remainder of the Black Legion. However, the sector is plagued by a new chaotic threat. The Alpha Legion from the Tartarus campaign have come back to seek their vengeance. Worse still, the Blood Ravens are being investigated for heresy by Inquisitor Adrastea. Diomedes and an elite strike force are given a last-ditch chance to prove Kyrus is the traitor and prevent Exterminatus of their recruiting worlds, letting his force be manipulated into destroying an Eldar device. This device was preventing the Ordo Malleus' fleet arrival. With its destruction, the fleet began to destroy Typhon Prime. While the fleet prepares to destroy the planet, Diomedes is confronted by a psychic vision of Kyrus, who reveals his plan to sacrifice the whole subsector to Khorne, showing that Kyrus' true master is the demon of the Maledictum, the one Gabriel freed all those years ago on Tartarus. Kyrus offers for Diomedes to join him by slaying the warriors of his strike force. Diomedes refuses, now seeing Kyrus for the traitor he is. The captain and his forces narrowly escape the planet via an ancient teleportarium array in the jungle. He joins up with Gabriel Angelos and Adrastea, launching an assault on Kyrus, who hides on the dead world of Cyrene. For only with the death of Kyrus will the Exterminatus fleet be halted. Gabriel arrives first, breaking through the heretical forces of Kyrus and confronting his once chapter master. Yet Kyrus has changed, ascending to become a cataclysmically powerful demon prince. Gabriel faces down Kyrus alone, but he's no match. Diomedes arrives moments after Gabriel falls, with his strike force, slaying Kyrus via orbital bombardment. Yet Gabriel didn't die. Via cybernetics in his body, he was restored, and was raised to the rank of chapter master, leading the chapter into an era of renewed strength and purity. Dawn of War 3. The last we saw of the Blood Ravens was in Dawn of War 3. Gabriel Angelos and the Blood Ravens have defied the orders of Inquisitor Holt and come to the aid of House Varlock, joining the Night House in their homeworld of Cyprus Ultima against an Orc War and a Baeltan raiding host. The real reason the Inquisitor ordered the Blood Ravens not to aid House Varlock is quickly revealed. The mysterious world of Acheron is about to reappear near Cyprus. On the world of Acheron, a legendary Spear of Cain, a relic that all of those embroiled in the war for Cyprus desire bar Angelos. The chapter master of the Blood Ravens believed the relic to be a trap. When Acheron did reappear, Angelos moved to stop any from claiming the spear, defying the orders of Inquisitor Holt once again and landing his forces on Acheron. Unfortunately, he fails due to the actions of Inquisitor Holt, who bombarded the entrance of the spear against Angelos' wishes. This devastated much of the Orc and Eldar forces, but opened the way for the spear to be claimed by Autarch Kaya. Once the foolish Autarch claimed the spear, it took his life, using him as a sacrifice to unleash a mighty demon, one that had been sealed within Acheron. This world-sized demon summoned forth a mighty demonic host. The Orcs, Eldar, and Imperials all engaged the forces of chaos, but they were too much. In desperation, Gabriel Angelos ordered the battle barge Dauntless to ram the world's exposed core. This greatly weakened the demon, allowing war boss Gorguts, Farsi Amaka, and Gabriel Angelos to team up and banish the warp entity. The three parted ways after, knowing the next time they met would be as enemies once again. The current era. In the age of the Dark Imperium and the arrival of Primaris. The Blood Ravens are in a sorry state. Told to us in White Dwarf July 2019, they are still recovering from the back-to-back devastating losses on Carava, Aurelia, and Acheron. Their suffering, however, has not stopped. The opening of the Cicatrix Maledictum has caused the entire subsector of Aurelia to be plagued by demonic incursions, seemingly due to Ulcair stirring in his prison once more. Luckily, the Blood Ravens received aid from the vaunted Custodes. The Custodes helped stabilize the Aurelia subsector and shared knowledge of making Primaris with the Blood Ravens. By the time of the Indomitus Crusade, the Blood Ravens were strong enough to join Guilliman on Crusade, and by the end their chapter was re-established, leading nicely into whatever Dawn of War 4 may bring. Behind every paragraph and reference in these videos, there's a mountain of research, editing, and more than a few burnt-out cogitators. That's where our patrons come in, with multiple tiers offering a variety of things, from exclusive chats in our Discord to personalized artwork created for our individual patrons. Every subscription keeps the machine spirit of the Astartes Anonymous YouTube channel appeased. And for our top-tier patrons, a display on the Wall of Honor at the end of each podcast. So if you're enjoying the content, please do consider taking a quick look at our Patreon. Thanks so much for watching. And a big thank you to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video. Don't forget to click the link in the description if you want to jump in and play.